What's up with all the no-shows in fully booked campgrounds? New MPG standards, a major recall on trucks with trailer brake controllers, and more. I'm Jason Epperson, and it's time for the latest in RV and camping news. Two big government actions happened last week that will affect the way passenger vehicles are built, but will they have an effect on RVers? The U.S. Department of Transportation announced new fuel economy standards, requiring an industry-wide fleet average of approximately 49 miles per gallon for passenger cars and light trucks in model year 2026. The government says that the new CAFE standards will reduce fuel use by more than 200 billion gallons through 2050, while reducing air pollution, of course, and saving vehicle owners money. Meanwhile, the state of Washington has moved forward with a ban of the sale and registration of light-duty vehicles that aren't powered by electricity starting in 2030. Washington joins other states, including California and Massachusetts, in requiring new cars and some pickups to be EVs by 2030, but goes further, banning the registration of gas-powered cars altogether. Now, large RVs and 3/4 and 1-ton pickup trucks are currently exempt from all of these requirements, but they will apply to half-ton pickup trucks. The legislation specifically targets light-duty vehicles, which includes pretty much anything with less than a 2,000-pound cargo carrying capacity. That keeps motorhomes and bigger trucks safe for now. Meanwhile, we're seeing every major truck manufacturer announce all-electric trucks, and electric cargo vans that can be converted into RVs are certainly on their way. All this comes at a time when Americans are reeling from the current high fuel prices at the pump. Thankfully, the average cost of a gallon of gasoline has dropped 21 cents to $4.12 a gallon from its high of $4.33 a month ago. But $4.13 is still pretty darn expensive, and diesel owners haven't seen as much of a reprieve. Diesel now sits at $5.05 a gallon on average, down 8 cents from the all-time high of $5.13. But will those fuel prices keep people from camping this year? I'm sorry to say it isn't looking like it. Every time I talk about fuel prices, people comment that they remember certain times when fuel prices crippled the RV industry. But the campground industry does not concur. Woodall's Campground magazine just put out a very thorough article that interviewed over a dozen stakeholders in the campground industry, including many major RV resort chains. Most have seen very few cancellations due to the recent surge in fuel prices. In fact, the National Association of RV Parks and Campgrounds says that historically, when gas prices have increased, the outdoor hospitality industry has seen an influx of campers. People may camp closer to home and extend their stays, but it's generally a more affordable way to travel than via airplanes and hotels. While we're starting to see marginally better prices on RVs, don't expect campgrounds to be deserted this year. They're probably going to be more full than last year as the revenge travel phenomenon continues. All of those booked campsites have a dirty secret, though, that most longtime RVers know about. Many of them go unused. And the problem is getting worse. A recent article from Outside magazine details the way in which people book affordable government-run campsites and never use them. Most of us have seen it. We've snagged the last available site at a busy campground, and then when we arrive, it seems barely more than half full. It's getting worse. People are so afraid that they won't get a reservation that they book dates before even making plans, or asking time off from work, or checking their schedule. And the sites are so affordable that they often book more days than they need in case they decide to stay longer, or they just don't care if they lose money. Sometimes it's more affordable to not show up without calling anybody than it is to cancel a reservation and pay the cancellation fee. Now, according to the article, some states are attempting to do something about it. Wyoming, for instance, has seen a major spike in visitation to its state parks. Officials changed policies in 2021 in an attempt to reduce the number of no-shows by eliminating a cancellation fee and allowing people to make changes up to the day of arrival. They also implemented a 4 strikes policy to penalize those who repeatedly no-showed, disabling future bookings if you were a repeat offender. And if you don't show up by 11 a.m. on day 2 of your reserve time, that site is put back into the inventory for others. Wyoming also started changing its online messaging, reminding people to be a good neighbor. Emails go out that now read, "If you're not going to use your site, let another family enjoy it." More in a minute, including more labor issues for RV builders, a major Ford recall, and that couple that got lost in Nevada. But first, this episode is sponsored by the Togo RV app and their premium Road Pass Pro membership. The free Togo RV app offers maintenance reminders, recall alerts, checklists, and more for your specific RV. And if you upgrade to a Road Pass Pro membership, you get RV-friendly GPS routing, access to thousands of verified overnight parking location listings, discounts on lots of great products like tires and lithium batteries, plus premium access to the other apps under the Road Pass umbrella. Download the Togo RV app for free today and get $10 off your Road Pass Pro membership with the code RVMiles10X. Elkhart County, Indiana, where the majority of RVs are built, has the distinction of being the place in the U.S. with the lowest unemployment rate, only 0.91%. That's been a big problem for RV manufacturers as they work to get laborers to build the increasing number of RVs that are demanded. So you can imagine that they're a bit ticked at Amazon, which has broke ground on a new distribution center that will seek to employ 1,000 people from Elkhart's tight labor market. There are many things that have driven the recent pricing and quality issues in the RV industry, and labor is certainly not among the least of them. Competing with Amazon for factory workers isn't going to make things any easier. Ford is recalling over 391,000 pickup trucks and SUVs from the 2021 and 2022 model years because their trailer braking software may not work properly. There's a software issue that's not triggering trailer brakes to engage when the brake pedal is pressed. As a result, braking distances could increase and a crash could occur. The recall includes trucks throughout Ford's entire lineup, and customers will be notified beginning April 18th. The fix is a software patch at the dealership. Ford says it's not aware of any crashes or injuries related to these malfunctions. Finally, the story of an Indiana couple that went missing in the wilds of Nevada had the RV community abuzz for the last week, and it's now concluded with a sad ending. Beverly Barker, 69, and her husband Ronnie, 72, were on their way to Tucson, Arizona from California in their 32-foot motorhome when the GPS led them off the highway in Nevada and down some side roads. Eventually, the side roads turned into gravel and were leading the couple up the side of a mountain. They weren't worried though, as they saw people and homes along the way, and the motorhome was doing fine. So they decided to continue on, even though it was getting dark, and make it over the mountain to get back to a better route. Eventually, the motorhome got stuck in gravel and sand, and the couple stayed the night in it, still not worried. They knew they could just drive the Kia Soul they towed behind them to town for some help. The next morning, they headed down the mountain, but took a wrong turn, and the Kia became stuck this time. They had no cell signal and no supplies, just a tank of gas that they could use to keep warm through the cold nights. 7 days went by without a sight of another soul. Meanwhile, authorities didn't begin conducting a search until near the end of their ordeal. Ronnie was a cancer survivor from exposure to Agent Orange in Vietnam and had part of his lung removed. His lungs couldn't handle the thin mountain air. He would periodically blast Morse code SOS on the Kia's horn, and Beverly, who needs a wheelchair to go more than a few dozen feet, knew she needed to get him water. She saw snow far up in the cracks between rocks on a ridge and began to walk up the mountainside with her walker and 2 bags in order to collect snow for them to melt and drink. It wasn't enough though. Ronnie died a day before rescuers found them. Beverly continued to blast the SOS that Ronnie taught her, and rescuers who had already located the motorhome were able to follow the sound and find her. She was released from the hospital with no injuries, but short one husband. That's it for this RV and camping news roundup. Stay safe out there, everybody. See you next time.